Okay. Everyone able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can see, sir.
Okay, fine. So last week we discussed completely from very basics of SAS. What are the rules and regulations for writing the SAS program, creating the dataset names. Some simple programs we discussed. How to write a single observation program, multiple observation program. What are the steps was involved in the writing any SAS program? Correct. So majorly we discussed about data accessing, data transformation, data analysis, and presentations. The steps we discussed in the last class. Majorly, very important thing is this libname statements. How to create a user-defined library. Okay. So any doubts? Anyone have anything in the last class? Any questions? Okay. No questions. So let's start a new topic. Called reading the data from raw data files and creating the SAS data sets. Okay, so reading the data from the raw data files and creating the SAS data sets. So now in this chapter, in detail, we are going to discuss how to create a data sets. What are the different scenarios we're going to face? In those scenarios, we're going to read the data and we're going to create a data sets. Okay. What is the standard syntax for reading the raw data? Standard syntax of reading the raw data. Okay. See the standard syntax. Data, mention the data set name. You can give any name. In file. So this was the syntax we already know. Multiple observations we saw, right? In file. So now we have to mention the location of the raw data. So this location going to be changed every time. Okay. In input statement, you have to mention the variables what you want to create and define them. Whether it's the character variable or numeric variable, we have to differentiate. And yes, you have to mention data lines when if you are reading the data from internally. Then give the data, close the semicolon, run. So this is the standard syntax for reading the data. Okay. Here we can read the data in two ways. We can going to read the data internally. And we're going to read the data externally. You're reading the raw data internally. The internally is nothing but manually you are passing. Externally is nothing but from external location we can read. I'll show you the difference. Okay. Internally we already know, right? The last two classes we discussed. For example, you have a data like this. Can you guys try the program? I'll give the data. For example, I have student student ID, student name, student age, student gender, height, weight. Like this, I have details of student ID, name, age, gender, height, and weight. So this is the data I have. Can you tell me, create a data set for me? You can follow the same syntax. Yeah. Anyone? Ashok, can you tell me the program? Say multiple observation program. Tell me. Data.
Hello.
Yes,
Data,
Ashok. Data.
work library,
Okay, Mahu, wait. Ashok,
Hello. Yeah.
tell me, Ashok. Data.
Yeah.
Um,
The previous one which you have given like that same, no, sir?
Same standard syntax you have to follow. Same syntax again. Create a data set for me. That's it. Data.
Dot. Work dot.
Okay, work library you want to create. Okay, work dot.
Some XYZ. Semicolon.
Okay, your data set name. Let us assume it's a student's data.
Yeah, sorry,
You can give any name.
Fine.
Invite. Invite.
Data lines.
Okay, data lines. Okay. Ashok, what happened?
Data lines next
Location
input.
of the data,
Input
data you given your location of the
input
data
statement. In file data lines semicolon and input we are giving.
Input statement.
And we are mention the variables and
Even the variable names. For example, this is first is student ID.
Student ID.
Name.
Then name.
The name
Gender.
Dollar.
That is a character dollar symbol.
So your student ID you are reading, name your names you are reading, name is a character data, so dollar symbol. Next age.
And age and gender. Gender also.
Height and weight. Here. Again data lines. Semicolon.
Semicolon.
Yeah. Okay. Here run the program. See the log. Student data set is created. Have 2 observations, 6 variables. 2 observations, 6 variables are created. Student ID, name, age, gender, height, weight. Here you can see. Name and gender are the text data type. Text is nothing but character data type. Student ID, age, height, weight, or number. Number is nothing but numeric data type. It's correctly created as per the data. So now this is how we are reading the data internally. This we already aware. Last class only we discussed. Now, for example, same data is available in your external location. If, for example, the same data is available in your E drive, some text file you have. See, here you have the data. Not this one. Maybe change some data. Text files. See, same data I have here as well. What I did, some text file I created. Here I have the same data. 10 student ID, name, age, gender, height, weight. Now I want to read this data and I have to create a data. Means I want to read it from external location. I want to create a data set. Okay, clear? See. How can I do it? You have to follow the same standard syntax. Data, data set name. For your data set name, you can give any name. So in the work library, I'm creating a new data set called student_1. Okay. In file, you have to give the location of the data. This is important. So previously you are giving the data lines. So it is reading from the data lines location because you are reading internally. Now I'm going to read it from externally. So where is your location of the raw data? Where is your raw data is there? See, it is there here in my external location. So where this file is available, that location you have to give. Okay, go and check the properties. So this file is available in E drive. What is the file name? Student. What is the file type? .txt. So we have to give location first, then file name with extension .txt. So when you give like this, it will go to that location, it will search through that file, and then from there it will start reading. So when you start reading, so we have to read with the variable names. So in input statement, you have to mention the variable according to the data. Okay, here first is student ID. Okay, student ID. Next, names, name dollar. Next, this is age. Next, gender, height, weight. Okay. Gender, height, and weight. Okay. So now, this is not required, right? These data lines, because you're not reading. You're reading from external location. Okay. Then directly give run. That's it. Your program is done. Now we are going to read the data from your external location with this variable names. See, run the program. See, there are two records we are reading from the student.txt file. See, student_1, 2 observations, 6 variables are created. Two observations, 6 variables are created. Okay. Then check here. Student name and gender text. Text is nothing but character data type. Remaining variables are numeric data type. So now we created a data set also successfully without any errors and warnings. Simple. This is how we can create we'll read the data from external location and we're going to read the data set. Clear? Now how we have to read the data from internally and how to read the data from external location. Okay, clear? Any doubts here? Anyone?
Will it read only the text files or what are all the extensions will SAS use?
No, we can read the other files as well. You can read Excel, CSVs, all other files we can read it. Okay. But when you come to in-file statement, start using text file for practice. Going forward, I'll show you. Okay. We can only import only with limited files only. Why? Because this we're going to understand later. It's too early to discuss. I'm going to discuss proc import, proc export topics, and ODS topics. They will be there. They will understand different files. I'll import and I'll show you. Okay. Now, as of
Okay.
now, you start with the text file.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I think you forgot to record the session.
No, you are today, everyone is present. Why you need to record?
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Anyone absent for that specific person, it will automatically record and it will go to them. Okay. Okay. See here, from these two and programs, the first interview question for you, the basic interview question is, what is the difference between in-file statement and input statement? Tell me what you understand, what is the difference between in-file statement and input statement? What in-file is doing here, what is input is doing here? How can I define in-file statement? How can I define input statement? Tell me anyone.
So in-file statement is nothing but we are defining the place
Can I
Where
say
the data we
physical
have.
where data we have to. Input is nothing but we are giving a command, sir. This is keyword.
I think location of the data we are.
Yes, first of all, in-file statement is defining the physical location, whether it is internally or externally. That location you are mentioning on the in-file statement. Correct? Whether it is internally or externally. If it is internally, you are giving a data lines location. If it is externally, you are giving some path. Okay. What input statement you are giving? Your input statement you are defining. You're defining the variable names, right? Variable names and which data type to be created. Whether the character data type or numeric data type, you are differentiating using dollar symbol, right? If you mention dollar symbol, you go and create as a character variable in the output data set. If you did not mention anything, it will go and create as a numeric variable in the output data set. So your input statement going to define as a your input statement defines the variables. Correct? Variables and its data type. Its data type to be created in the output data set. What data type you want to create it in the output data set? Character data type, numeric data. You are defining the data type as well. So your input statement defines the variables and its data types. In-file statement defines the just a physical location. Okay, clear? Next. So this is a basic first interview question. Here, one more point we need to discuss. While reading the data internally, I used a data lines. Okay. Instead of data lines, some other options also there. Data lines. Someone asked me last class also, okay, lines and cards. SAS gave these three things. Any of these things you can use it. Okay. Why I'm giving these things? Tomorrow, if you open any book or any website, some people will use lines, some people will use cards. Don't confuse, everything will be the same. Okay, you can practice on only data lines also enough. Okay. So instead of data lines, see, you can use lines as well. See, run the program. See, student ID, name, age, gender, height, weight. Data set is created. I used lines this time. Instead of the lines, you can use cards as well. Okay. Okay.
Sir, hello.
Yeah.
Sir, these data lines, cards, and that one info the lines. These are used only for writing a program for internally.
Yes, only for internally.
Only for
Yes,
internally. These three statements.
only for internally. That's what, right? But telling you're
Okay.
selling a SAS data is available in this location. For external, no need required because why? You are not
Okay.
passing the data right here, anything.
Okay.
Only
Okay.
for internal. Okay. Okay, student to data set is created. Now used cards. Either use cards or lines or data lines. Three things would work. Okay. So any one thing you can use and you can practice. So everything meaning will be the same. Okay. And one more point. Yeah. Here you are mentioning every time work dot students. If you did not mention the work dot students, so we are mentioning work dot student means this data set is creating in the work library. If you did not mention work dot, you just mention students. What going to happen? See, run the program.
It will automatically create in the work library.
Correct. Because work is your default library. By default, it will go and create in the work dataset. By default, it will read from the dataset, work library only. Work is the default library. Work is a temporary library, right? So this one, it will take it as a default library. If you create any other special library means that time you have to mandatorily you have to mention that library name. Any user defined library if you create, that library name you have to give mandatorily. For work, no need to give. Okay, so that's the reason going forward, if you did not mention the dataset name is while I'm writing the program, it will go and create in the work library only. Okay, clear? So take it out. Work is the default library. Default library. Means it will read and it will write into work library. Work library. Work is a default library. It will read and it will write into work library by default. Okay, clear? Clear? So this is how we can read the data internally and externally. Okay, now we understand the difference between in-file statement and input statement. Clear till now? Any doubts, anyone? Okay. I hope everyone is clear. Okay. We'll move to the next concept. So here I'm reading this data and creating the data set. This program we already aware, correct? Student data set is creating. For example, here I'm student names, I'm giving A, B, C, and D, F, right? Instead of A, B, C, and D, F, let me give some other names. Okay. For example, I'm giving Sudarshan, Sudhr, SLPN. Male, 176, height and weight. Okay. And have some other names. Okay. Let me give some other big name. Mahabub. Okay. Okay. So I want to read this data and create a data set. Okay. Run the program.
I think it will generating the errors.
It's not throwing any error. It's not throwing any warning. Student dataset is created, 2 observations, 6 variables. Observe the student dataset now. Observe what happened. Sudarshan name not coming correctly. SHAN is missing. Mahaboob. Okay, Mahaboob is fine.
I think we are using lib frame more than 8 characters.
8 characters only.
Mahabooban. Let me take Mahabooban. More than 8 characters, both the names I take. Up to Mahaboob only it is taking. Sudarshan also, AN is not taking. Why? Why? Because, see, observe here, go to properties. See the column. What is the variable length of by default? See, even it is a character variable or a numeric variable. By default, the variable length is 8 characters. That means you will be able to read up to only 8 characters. If you pass more than 8 characters, it will truncate. Truncate is nothing but it will read only 8 characters. Remaining characters it won't read. So that's the reason it won't throw in any error. Even if you pass more characters, it won't throw in error. It will read up to 8 characters. Whatever there, it will be truncated. It will be cut from there. So now what my requirement? My requirement is I want to read the name fully. So what for that one that I have to do? I have to increase the length of my variable name. For example, my variable name is there of 20 means up to 20 characters I can read it. I want to increase my variable length. So that is one scenario. Another scenario, observe here. For example, gender variable is there. Gender variable only one character space is enough for me. See, here 8 character space was there. Up to 8 character I can read it. But not required. For me, 1 character space is enough. And I said I'm wasting the space. So can I do one thing? Can I reduce the variable length? Yes. So in one scenario, I want to increase the variable length. In another scenario, I want to decrease the variable length. How can I do it? You're going to do it using length statement. Okay. So here is the next topic, is length. Okay. So how can I write a length statement? Length statement always you have to write it before infile statement. Okay. Length for a name variable. What is the length you want? Some 20 characters. So up to 20 characters you can give. For a gender variable is there. For me, 1 character is enough. 1 space is enough. Not only character variable, even numeric variables also. For example, height variable is 3 dots. It's up to 3 characters space it will give. It's 3 letters you can read. 3 numbers you will read. Okay. See, run the program. This time. See the log. No errors, no warnings. Students data set is created. 2 observations, 6 variables. See the students data set. Observe the names now. It's reading correctly. Sudarshan, Mahbooban.
Mahaboob.
It's coming correctly.
Yes, sir.
You can go and check the properties also. See name, length. Previously it is 8 characters. From 8 characters to 20 characters I was increased. Gender, previously 8 characters are there. Now 8 characters to 1 character. You can decrease the variable length. Previous height also. For height is a numeric variable. For numeric variable also, say previously 8 characters, now it will be 3 characters. Okay. So like this, you can increase the variable length or you can decrease the variable length. You can define the variable's length using length statement. What length statement doing here is doing here? Length statement is defines the length for the variables. Okay. What is the by default length? By default, a character variable or a numeric variable, the length is 8 characters. Okay. What is the minimum length and maximum length per character variable? What is the minimum I can give? What is the maximum I can give? Minimum from one character to maximum, you can give maximum, any amount you can give. You can give 200, 200, 1000, 2000 also you can give length. But when you come to numeric variable, okay, the minimum length is 3 characters. Less than 3 you can't give. Okay, the minimum is 3 characters for numeric variable. That's the reason I give starting with 3. 2, 1 you can't give it. Okay, maximum also up to 8 numbers you can read it. Okay, minimum is 3, maximum is 8. Here, okay.
Are we using just
Sudarshan,
two
Yeah.
characters for weight in our program?
Can you repeat again?
Aren't we just using 2 characters for weight in our program up there? So if the minimum is 3, then how are we just using 2 characters?
Okay, yeah. Minimum is 3 means, okay, the variable, what is the variable length here? Up to 8 characters, right? Up to type 8 characters, it will read. You can't define a variable length up to. That's what the meaning. Up to 3 means you cannot give 2 dot. So for me, 2 characters is enough means SAS won't take it. Let me show you.
Oh, okay.
Maximum up to 8 characters, right? Okay. The length of numeric variable is 3 to 8. You're throwing an error. Minimum 3, maximum 8. Maximum you can change it, I think so. Sometimes. The numeric variable length is 3 to 8. Clear now? Your question? More than 8, you can't repeat.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, in case of weight, if you are mentioning in kgs or pounds, how can we write it, sir?
What is that meaning of kgs and pounds? So 62 kgs, huh? 65 kgs, huh? Do you want to write like this?
In the variable
Yeah.
itself, how can I write it, sir?
No. You want to read, your data was like this?
Like this one type, and if I mention in the weight itself, means variable itself.
Variable itself means, see,
Hmm.
however the data you are given, according to data, it will read. Okay. It won't convert, variable won't convert anything. For example, you give some grams, it won't convert into kilograms and like this, it won't create. It won't convert anything. You are giving some data, it is reading in that variable. That's it. Whether you want to read in kilos or grams, whatever, it's your wish. However, what data you're given, the data only it will read.
Okay.
Okay, right? End of the SAS won't take any, it won't do any conversions or not. What did you gave some data, okay, I'll read, I'll create a data set. That's it. You mentioned as a kgs, okay, whatever. If it is a kgs or grams, I'm not worried. You have some kgs here, okay. Don't read it as a character variable, use it as a dollar. Read it as a character variable. It will read 62 kg, 65 kgs. Clear?
Okay, sir.
I have a doubt, Sudarshan. In the length syntax, you mentioned the dollar symbol, right? So it represents the name variable, or you are giving it for the length? I'm confusing.
I'm defining the name as a character variable.
Okay, you gave space, right? So we got confused.
No, okay, we can give without give space also.
Okay, so the dollar represents the character variable.
Character name is a character variable, give 20 characters length. Generate
And
the
dot
character.
represents the separating the variables, right?
No, dot represents the syntax. Length.
Okay.
3 dot means 3 characters length. 1 dot means 1 character length. So syntax.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. Sometimes if it did not give dot also, it will take it sometimes. SAS can understand some things by default. Okay.
Okay.
So length, that is what about length. Before closing this length topic, see here, understand this data set. Did you observe any difference? Understand your data. Okay, let me run this program again. Okay. This is your data set and this is your data. Tell me anything you observe differently.
Student ID, sir.
What happened to student ID?
The student ID in first column, sir. Now it changes to fourth column.
Correct, Balaji. See, here I'm giving the variables in this order, right? Student ID, name, age, gender, height. Why it is coming in this order? Name, gender, height, student age, weight. Why? Because, see, remember always, on a length statement, which variable you will mention, those variables will come in the first place. Name, gender, height. The remaining variables will come in the next place. That is the nature of length statement. So on a length statement, whichever variable you mention, so those variables will come in the first place, remaining variables will come in the next place. Okay, tomorrow if you while practicing also, don't worry, that's the nature of an infile length statement. Okay, clear? That's it. Further. Next. Some dataset options we are going to discuss. Okay, in this, but not only dataset options. Okay. First, some infile options. DLM, BSD. Okay. Slower, misover, stop. Okay, one of the input options. Okay, single trailing, double trail. Single trailing and double trail. Okay, SAS dataset options also we are going to discuss. Rename, keep, drop, first ops, and ops. Okay, all these options we are going to discuss today and tomorrow, one by one. Okay, so we'll start with first infile options, DLM. So what is meaning of DLM? DLM is nothing but delimiter. Delimiter. In our language, delimiter is nothing but special characters. Simply, I can say it's a special characters. Okay. So when we use a DLM option, okay. Take the same data. So up to here, what we discussed till now, Here your raw data is separated by the space, correct? For example, if your raw data is not separated by the space, if your raw data is separated by the any other special character other than the blank space. See, for example, your data is separated by the comma. See, here my data is separated by the comma. Now I want to read this data set. Okay, I'm not changing the program. I'm using as the same program. Data, work library, students data set I'm creating. In file, my data is available, data lines location. In input statement, I'm giving the variable names according to the data lines and data. Okay, run the program. See the log. See, it was throwing like invalid data for student ID, invalid data for age, invalid data for height. Students 2 observations, 6 variables are created. See what happened? Students age is he did not read correctly. Even name also, see name it is coming ABC comma DF comma, genders are coming like F comma M comma. The data set is not reading correctly, right? So here in this case, if you want to read these type of data, you are going to use an option called DLM. So DLM, you have to use the comma. So now we are telling the SAS saying that my data is separated by the comma. So read accordingly. Okay. So what is the purpose of DLM? Actually, blank space is the default delimiter. Means if the data is separated by the blank space, you no need to use the DLM option because by default, if the data is separated by the blank space, it will read. Blank space is the default delimiter. So if the data is separated by the blank space, no need to use anything. If the raw data is separated by any other special character other than the blank space, we have to use DLM option. How to use? This is how you have to. This is an in-file option, right? So that's the reason you have to mention on an in-file line. Okay, in-file data where the data is available and DLM option. Okay, run the program. See the log. Students data set is created, 2 observations, 6 variables. This type, no errors, no warnings, no special notes. So it's reading correctly. Student ID, name, age, gender, height, weight, everything is reading correctly. Check. Your name and gender are reading as a character variable, remaining as a numeric variable. Clear? That's it. Simple. So here your data is separated by the comma. Only single, not only comma, any slash or anything. You can use a DLM. So how DLM is working? Very simple, okay? First data set will create. In file, we are telling the we are informing the SAS saying that data is available, data lines location, and immediately we are telling your data is separated by the comma. Then using input statement, it will read the data. So it will understand, okay, my data is separated by the comma. So we're informing the data saying that, okay, your data is separated by comma, read accordingly. So going the next step is the input statement. So using input statement, it will read the variables accordingly. Okay. Here you have only single delimiter is there actually. Your raw data is separated by the only single delimiter. For example, if your raw data is separated by multiple delimiters means See, for example, my data is separated by not only comma, in some places separated by hashtags. Like this, it was separated. Some are separated by the comma, some are separated by the hashtags. Now, what to do that time? Very simple. Previously, data is separated by the comma. So in a DLM option, you are giving comma. Here your data is separated by the comma and hashtags. So this time you pass both the delimiters. Okay. Now run the program. So now we are telling the SAS that while reading the data, my data is separated by the comma and hashtags. So according to you only, it will read the data. Okay. Student 1 data set is created. No errors, no warnings. Reading correctly. Okay.
Hello,
Yes.
sir.
Yeah.
Sir, in delimiting after comma, you have given space also, na?
No.
Here, upside, sir. In a single
No.
delimiter, after comma also you have given space, na?
And a DLM option you are asking or here?
Here. In a DLM, no, in data lines.
Here I gave space because space is the default, right?
If
Space is
we
the
are
default
not giving
delimiter.
that space is problem, sir.
Okay, good question. Okay. So you're telling that, so for example, I don't have spaces. My data was like this. Even if you give data, it did not give space. Space is the default delimiter.
Okay.
Okay. There is no spaces as it. My data is completely separated by the comma only. Run the program. See the log. Student data set is created. No errors, no warnings. It's reading correctly.
Okay. That means if we are mentioned the delimiter, we should not bother about the space and all those things.
No. So sometimes your data may come like this. You have spaces because space is the default. You no need to mention here.
Okay.
If your data doesn't have space, also no problem. It was mainly separated by the comma. So you have to inform saying that okay, data is separated by the comma.
Okay.
Because space is the default delimiter. Space is the default delimiter. You need not to worry about. Even the data has a spaces also. Even doesn't have a spaces also. You no need to mention in a DLM statement.
Okay.
Okay. So you like this. And the same another question, yes. Even the data is separated by single delimiter, you have to mention single delimiter. If data is separated by the multiple delimiters, you have to mention those multiple delimiters on a DLM option. Okay. Clear everyone? So that is DLM. Okay. Clear any doubts? Anyone here? That's it for the DLM. No questions? So one more option, DHD. Your DHD is nothing but delimiter separated data, delimiter specified data. Delimiter separated data, delimiter specified data. Okay. Delimiter separated data, delimiter specified data. So when we use this option, for example, when your raw data, you have missing values. That to where these missing values are available in between the records. In between the records. If you have missing values, we'll use a DHD option. When you have missing values in between the records, we'll use a DHD option. See here, for example, this program. Okay. In this data, for example, name is missing. Okay. So here some age is missing. I want to read this data. Okay, same program I'm using as of now. Data, dataset name. In file, my data is available, data lines location. I'm telling the SAS saying that my data is separated by the comma. So I'm using the DLM option comma. In input statement, you have to mention the variable name, student ID, name, age, gender, height, weight, and run the data. Give the data, run the program. See, invalid showing invalid data for age variable. Invalid data errors. The student data set is created. Only one observation, 6 variables. What happened? Student ID, name, I'm supposed to get a missing value, right? But in the name place, it is coming age value. Age is coming missing. Again, in gender place, height values are coming. In a height place, weight values are coming. In a weight place, the previous values came. Everything became clumsy. You do not get a proper output. So in this scenario, you want to read the data. If you have here, you have missing values. You want missing values in between the records, you are going to use the DSD option. See, when I using the DSD option, let's see what's going to happen. Now run the program. I just added DSD. See the log. No errors, no warnings, no special notes. Student data set is created, 2 observations, 6 variables correctly. See now, here reading student ID is reading correctly. Name, see name is a character variable, right? Here you have a missing value. Name is a character variable, that's the reason you got a space. Next, age, gender, height, weight, read correctly. Next, in the second record, student ID, name. Next, age is missing. So age is a numeric variable. That's the reason you got a missing. Dot. Do you remember in the second class I told you, if you have any missing values for character variables, you will get a space. For numeric variables, you're going to get a dot. Able to recollect? Okay. So whenever you have missing values for character variable, you get a space. For numeric variable, you're going to get dot. Okay. Now here, how this DSD option is working? So this DSD option will work completely based on your delimiter only. So that's the reason your name is delimiter separated data, delimiter specified data. So when your data is separated by any special characters, when you use a DLM option only, this DSD will work. How this DSD is working is, see for example, how you going to read the data? In file, my data is available at data lines location and it is separated by the comma. Okay. And we are mentioning DSD. So when you mention DSD, how SAS will read, okay? First student ID will read. Okay. Next name, I'm supposed to read it. See, here I found 2 commas, means between the 2 commas, if there is no data, it's going to read it as a missing value. So whenever you mention the DLM and DSD means, here what is the DLM comma? So between the 2 commas, if there is no data, it's going to read as a missing value. So that's the reason first student ID will read. Next to name, when I trying to read the name, I found 2 commas. So name variable is going to read as a missing value. So name is a character variable, we'll get a space in the output data set. Okay. Next age, gender, height, weight. Next student ID, name. See age variable I'm trying to read. I found 2 commas. So 2 commas means we're going to read it as a missing value. So age is a numeric variable, you will get a dot in the output data set. Okay, gender, height, weight. So this is how your DSD option completely depends on your DLM option. It will work only when you give a DLM option. If it did not give, it won't work. Okay. Here my data is separated by the only single delimiter. For example, if my data is separated by the multiple delimiters. Okay. Here, let's assume some height is missing. Some names are missing. I'm trying to read this data. Okay. I'm using the DHD option now. Now run the program. See the log. No errors, no warnings. Students one data set is created. So which are missing? Student ID, name, age, gender, height. Height is missing. So height is the numeric variable. So you will get a dot. In the second record, student ID, name. Name is missing. Name is a character variable. So you got a dot. So you got a space. Similarly, age, gender, height, weight, everything is reading correctly. Here, how the DHD option is working? DHD option is based on your DLM. Here you pass the two DLMs. That time, how SAS can understand means between the two commas, if there is no data, it's going to read as a missing value. Or between the two hashtags, if there is no data, it's going to read as a missing value. Or between the comma and hashtag, there is no data, it's going to read as a missing value. Or between the hashtag and comma, if there is no data, it's going to read as a missing value. Same thing is going to happen. See, first to student ID it is reading. Next name it is reading correctly. Age is reading. Gender is reading. See, now I am going to read the height. I found comma and hashtag. So comma and hashtag means it's going to read as a missing value. So height is the numeric variable, but the missing value will be dot. Next, weight variable it will read. Again, for come to second observation, student ID it will read. Next, name variable I'm trying to read. It found two commas. So two commas means we're going to read it as a missing value. So name is the character variable. So you'll get a missing value means space. Clear? Next, age, gender, height, weight. Clear? So this is how DHD option will work. Completely based on your delimiter. Okay. So DHD option will work based on the delimiter. Okay. So when you have missing values in between the records, we'll use a DHD option. Okay. So you're going to give the missing values only. But that means if it is a character variable, what is the output you are going to get? For character variable, we will get a space. Correct? We're going to get a space. If it is a numeric variable, okay,
We'll get the dot.
Okay. This is how we have to use a DHD option when your data is separated by the. So when your data, when you have missing values in between the records. Simple. Okay. That's it. These are the two options we have in it. The in-file options. Clear, everyone?
Sir, in
Any doubt?
in case of if you are we are not separating data with any specific delimiter, in case of space, if the variable is missing, then how can we write it, sir?
We can't read it like this.
We can't read it like that.
It's very difficult to read it. Okay, in this way we can't read it. We cannot use a DHD. DHD will not work. DHD will work completely based on the DLM only. If you have DLM only, then only it will work. Okay. Any more questions, anyone? Okay. Fine, that's it for today then. Yeah. So what is the status of tool installation? Kishan, I'll connect to you now. What about Vandit? Vandit
I'm
and,
using my wife's licensed version. She has it from her work.
okay, fine. You are practicing that one. Anything, whatever is there.
Yeah.
Yes, I gave to Nitya also.
Yeah, she has it on her laptop as well. So we have like 2 already.
Okay, fine. You can use it that one. Anything is great.
Yeah.
What about Ramya?
It's working now. I'm good.
It's working?
Yeah.
Okay. Anil, I'll send to now. Anil, I'll send. You need to send. Ashok, I'll send now. I think Shiva. I already sent it. It's working right for you. Hello. Shiva Prakash. Can you hear me? Balaji started practicing.
Yes, sir. Start.
Mahabub, is it done?
But I have to install, sir. Whether it is showing 32, 64 like that showing.
32, 64. Stereo screenshot. How much they downloaded?
1 minute, sir. I will just show you.
You send me in the WhatsApp. Okay. Okay. Ram, it is done for you.
No, sir, it's taking time. Again, I am
Still not downloaded.
installing. Yeah, sir.
No, I asked you
It's
to
not
install.
downloaded
Download
yet. It's
again.
still running.
Let me know once download is done. Okay.
Okay.
I'll do it
Okay.
today at least.
Okay.
Okay. Then most of you done then.
So could you see my laptop, sir?
Hey, you send a screenshot.
Okay.
How much it was downloaded. Send a screenshot. That folder SAS 9.4 screenshot you send me.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Fine, guys. So that's it for today. Yeah, we'll continue tomorrow. Thank you. Let's send the notes.